Hi, so my name is Andrew, and because of technical difficulties, I won't be displaying the use of the script because for some reason I can't find a screen recording program that will record a terminal, um, the the CMD terminal. But I'll focus more on explaining the code. So to start off, we'll have our global variables. We won't explain this now. We'll explain as we go. So first off, we have our case, which is to check the arguments. So if there's 0 arguments, you get the current directory. If there's 1, you get the specified file name that was provided by the user. In any other case, you would provide the usage because it's invalid. And then we exit. And then here we check to see if it's a valid file or directory. So if it's a valid directory, do nothing. If it's a valid file, do nothing. Otherwise, it's not a valid file name, and then we exit again. Here, we start to get into the tough parts. We get our file directory right here, file path, sorry, that was saved earlier. And then we break it up based on this delimiter, and then we save that into parts. So what happens is we now take parts right here and we specify at for all, and then you go through each one. And what we're trying to do here is we're trying to calculate how much file levels there are provided in the path. So assume that, let's say we say home ap quang I, and that's three file levels, right? So we have to keep that in mind. Then we also get the current F level. So there was 3 earlier. We would set our current F level to 3 by default. And because based on the assignment display, there's empty space in between each line, and that's specifically for the file description. We have to multiply by 2 to account for that. So technically our absolute current F level should be 8. I mean 6 if it was based on what was shown earlier. Now we have our while loop, which will run everything until the flag is set to 1. So we have a condition to see uh, if we're gonna redraw the screen, because some parts of the menu don't need to be redrawn. This is to prevent the flashing effect. So we'll explain it. So basically, this part right here, for the most part, doesn't need to be redrawn. So that's why you have a special condition. But for the first part, for the first instance, we're gonna draw it. So we have our header right here, owner group other file name. And then because we're gonna have use our parts again, since it still maintains the values that I held from before. So we have 3 special conditions. So 1, to see if the base name is the file. So assume that it was home ap quang file1.txt, right? We have a special condition to see if it's file1.txt, and we would output the display according to this situation right here. Um, then we also have a special condition for the root. So when we save the file path one by one through the for loop from earlier, this here, um, sorry, um, no, that's not the case. Oh yes, okay, no, that is the case. It does not save the root for some reason. So we have to have a special condition right here for the root, and we display it accordingly. And then lastly, we have for the directories, which happens to be this, and yeah, for any other directories there are. Um, for the most part, uh, the only significant thing that's different from the output right here is that we need to, for the root, we need to replace the dot near the end with an empty space because it shouldn't be there. And because it doesn't save root as a variable, we also have to substitute the end with a root. So we're cheating in a sense right here. But what works works, right? So next up we have a special condition right here. We have to get the terminal size right here, and it gives back two values, y and x. And we place the cursor near the end. So we get the y value and then we minus it by 2. So meaning we're going 2 spaces up. And then we're echoing this command out. And then we're setting redraw back to no. So this part won't be redrawn ever again because it doesn't need to. Then we're gonna set our option cursor. Option cursor is basically going to be a numeric value, which is the cursor location of the file description. So we get the current F level. Assume that we're back at here, right here. Uh, since there's a space in between each, we would have to add one. So three. There's 3 file levels, so we multiply that by 2, we get 6, and then the file description should be under uh, hi.txt, so we add that by 1, and that's what basically cursor does. So we're gonna place the cursor at that location, and then we're going to output the file description right here. Um, the current option location is a special case handling to save each file path instance into an array right here. I should have explained this earlier. So we save that right here. So basically we have an array in a sense. So I'll show that right here. Say it's array 0. Array 0 will maintain that. Array 1 will be like home, and then array 2 could be like home AP Kwang, and it goes on, right? Because we have to keep track of that as we're going back and forth, because we have to save this memory somewhere. So as we're going up and down, uh, we keep track of the current option right here, and then we perform a function to display the file description right here. So say if we're at cursor location file description, like for the first file, this would indicate, it would try to pull the information right here and then perform ls-ld on it. And then we got our read read user input right here. N1 n dash N1 is to read one character, and dash S is to prevent like I believe the enter, if I remember correctly. And then we saves into UDQ, and then we have a case statement for each. So this checks to see if the cursor will not go higher than what it should. It shouldn't go out of the realm. Same with this one right here. And after that, we keep track. So if we click U, we would minus it by 2. So meaning that the cursor will go up 2 levels. And D, we would plus 2 to go 2 levels down. And then we have a special condition for quit, and which places the cursor near at the end after you quit the file. And then we set the flag to 1, so the while loop won't rerun. So the most challenging part of this program was, for the most part, the file output. Like, this took at least a good solid 4 hours to figure out, and this was probably an hour to figure out how to remove the old file description and to place the new one. But that was pretty much it. I would rate myself 10 because I believe I did everything that was required. And thank you.